that's why solutions like PAMM from Brokeree or any other vendor is needed, because of a lot of calculations there. And talking about the case you mentioned, we have some trades and profits during the first day. The system knows that those trades were under this split, 50-50. Next trade will be under new split, 33, 33, 33. So every trade is calculated separately. Moreover, it depends on the settings, but we can even let new investor join the open trade. For example, he joined while some trade was open. So the system will calculate each period of time, some profit which was generated during the time when it was 50-50, some profit later. So it's very, very flexible calculations all the time.
Here we are. Here's another podcast session. This is the Financial Frontiers. I have an awesome guest today with me today. His name is Victor Ivanov. Victor, thank you so much from Brokeree. We work quite closely together. Actually, before we were here, I actually thought it was almost a decade, but apparently it wasn't. It's just 3 years we've been working together. Please introduce yourself, and let's have a nice conversation over here about where Victor Ivanov is from, your experience in the industry. We build up into Brokeree, and we talk about different things for the end trader.
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for having me, for invitation. I think this is a great source of information from the industry, actually, from the first people in the industry. My name is Victor. I am head of business development for EMEA region in Brokeree Solutions. I've been into IT business already for more than 10 years, I think. But I joined the fintech and this market, I think, a bit more than 4 years ago. So what we do in Brokeree, we are a technology provider. We work with brokers who operates with MetaTrader 4 and 5 platforms. And on top of these platforms, we build our products. As an example, social trading, our flagship solution for copying trades. We also have PAM, we have Bridge, we have a lot of plugins, almost 30, more than 30 products in general. So that's what we basically in. And I'm in sales, and I am here, and I'm working to show our products to the industry, to our clients, to make the good service and to enhance their business, basically.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about Victor, though. So before, did you mention what you were doing before Brokeree?
Before, I was also in IT and sales. I was working on a big technology company called VM Software. It's a software for backup of virtual infrastructures. And after that, I joined Brokeree, and actually this was my first penetration to the industry and first view inside of it. Mm-hmm. Before that, I don't have a lot of experience, but some experience with trading. So it was very interesting for me actually to look from the inside on what I knew about it as a retail client.
So you have the experience being a retail trader, let's call it.
Just a little bit. I was not very successful.
No. It's all good, we learn. People learn from their mistakes, right? That's the only way to get in. So while you were in, VM, I know VM. It's VEEAM. It's
yes.
Backup of that's for virtual machines,
Sure.
Backup, and it might not be relevant, but here's a nice. So you were sales at VM?
Kind of, yeah. We were working with support renewal and contacting existing clients.
And where were you based?
In St. Petersburg, Russia.
Okay, so obviously VM had headquarters there, or some not headquarters, or a branch
before the beginning of 2022.
Yeah, well, that's when all the problems. Okay, and do you know if any brokerage firms were using VM?
I think a lot of them, and even we suggest our DevOps team suggests clients in some cases to use the software for backup. Our products, they use databases to store all the information, and this is like a core, right? If you lose the whole history of interactions of everything, this is a disaster. So yeah, that's from what I know. I was not involved in it, and I was not a person, but I know the solution is good.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the leading products for sure. They're very well known. And so in Brokeree, you suggest you recommend Veeam as a backup, to some of your clients.
From what I heard, yes, in some cases, but it's the responsibility of the DevOps team, so I'm not inside of it.
Okay. All right. So you grew up in St. Petersburg, I would imagine.
Yeah, in Russia.
How was that like? How was Russia?
Russia is, it's motherland.
The motherland.
So
I love working with Russians. Straight to the point.
Actually,
There's no.
Yeah, there are a lot of people from Russian-speaking people, let's say, in this industry. Everywhere, wherever you are, South Africa, Dubai, Bangkok, you hear. Yeah, it's everywhere.
In my career, I've had the experience of working with different Russians, and there's it's wrong to generalize, right? Definitely wrong to generalize. But what I have picked up very frequently is that there's no there's business is business. If there's something wrong, if you've done something wrong, they're gonna say it as it is. And if you've done something right, that's just normal. Then it's business as usual. You're not going to get a compliment, but if you do something wrong, you're going to hear it.
That's true.
Which I appreciate. You know where you stand, and that's all good. Okay, so from Veeam, you joined Brokeree in 2019.
In 2019, and basically the Brokeree exists since 2013. So it already 10 years. This year should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I saw tremendous growth of our business through this year. I think starting 2019. I don't know if it's connected with me joining the company, but
take it, just take it.
Yeah, but actually we grew up. We have like double-digit growth every year.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Because of our team is great. Our products are very reliable, and altogether it built up the relationship with our clients.
I remember Brokeree. The first time I heard of Brokeree was back in 2014 when I was in JFD.
Mm-hmm.
Back then it was very evident that it was just a startup. Just one or two products. And we'll discuss the products that Brokeree has and how it's evolved, in terms of its portfolio, if that's the right term, of the range of products that it has. I think what's valuable here is obviously Brokeree services brokers in the industry on the different third-party solutions that they need to integrate into their main core, most common platform being used, being MetaTrader. Do you have any integrations with other trading platforms other than MetaTrader?
So far, no, but we are working on it. For our major product, we are going to have multiple platforms integrated. Once it will be done, there will be an announcement for sure. But I think this summer we will have a new integration done for social trading.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I think, for the end trader, all they see is their access to the main core platform, but how different solutions work, they're agnostic. They don't know, right? They don't know what's happening in the background. And I think when we dive into these different products and, going back to when I, came aware of Brokeree back then, when it was still a startup, when it was still, in its infancy, it was just one solution, and that was the bridge. We know what a bridge is. We've discussed it in this podcast before with other guests, but we'll say it again over here. it's the solution that connects the trading platform of the broker to liquidity providers, and also it's the engine that if a broker chooses to use to process orders.
Mm-hmm.
It's the solution that's used, one of the solutions that's used to take quotes and flow the pricing from liquidity providers to the trading platform. And I remember when Brokeree in its initial stages, that was the only product. Let's hear your description of a bridge, and then how Brokeree's bridge maybe works. Let's talk about the bridge product a little bit,
Okay.
before we get into the other solutions that exist, and how Brokeree has matured as a business and now is up there with the most common popular third-party providers of plugins and maybe and bridge, or different plugins like third-party solutions that brokers use that eventually trickle down to impact the end trader that's trading with the broker. So let's start with the bridge. Your description of the bridge, how the Brokeree bridge is different.
Sure. Bridge, I think, was one of our first products the team has developed. And basically what bridge is. Bridge is about execution. With no bridge, it's just bbook. It's just one software somewhere on a web server where you have your account, where you have your balance, and that's all. And you operates based on the pricing you see on the screen. But to make it live and to make it more, companies have to use bridge to execute trades to another venue, to hedge risk mostly. That was a lot of huge discussion between you and Much Prime about it. So basically all the bridges are quite the same, but the question here is how the risk management works. If we are going to talk about A and B book, bridge is about A book, but the right brokerage that manage their risk correctly, they have both, and they have hybrid. So our bridge is very stable solution, and it has nice UI. You can manage all the symbol. You can how it works. You install the bridge as a separate component with its core UI connection, and you just pick up the consumers, means trading platform. In our case, MetaTrader 4 and 5 only, and add it as link it, integrated, and on the other hand, it's liquidity provider. So in the middle is bridge with core, with settings, with UI, where broker do the risk management settings. And our bridge allows people to do A book, B book, and hybrid. Hybrid means when you split the trade, half, for example, or more than some amount of money, the volume of trade. Let's say we can afford 1 million inside of the company, and the rest should go to the liquidity provider. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. It should be very flexible in terms of routing the orders between different sources and to execute it fast, reliable, with low latency for clients. That's how it affects traders, because the good bridge is about low latency, fast execution, good pricing, and to manage the risk properly.
Yeah. So what I've picked up is there's different terms used by different bridges. So when Brokeree says consumer, mm-hmm. other technologies or bridge solution providers refer that as a taker. So the consumer or the taker, that means, and just to, I guess you have plotted this, mm-hmm. But I'll also attempt to kind of expand on that. So the bridge, let's imagine that the bridge sits does it sit in the middle? I wouldn't call it. It sits in the middle between the broker and the liquidity provider.
It's a bridge.
It's a bridge,
right,
exactly.
On the river.
Yeah. But it's not a bridge sitting between the end trader trading and the MT5, right? So there's a connection over there. So if we had to look at the whole infrastructure, it's not it sits, say, on the, generally speaking, on the third tier. So it's terminal, trading terminal. Client has access to a trading terminal. They place a trade. That trade goes straight to the platform, the MT5 or MT4 or other trading platform, whatever it is. That is what's regarded as the consumer or the taker to the next point, which is the bridge.
Yeah.
Here it's the bridge product that's Brokeree is called trade processor.
No, liquidity bridge.
Liquidity bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, I've mixed up the solutions.
That's fine.
Brokeree liquidity bridge. So then the broker's MT5 is the consumer, or in other cases the taker of the liquidity bridge, and then the liquidity bridge connects to what you call a provider.
Yeah.
Or what others call a maker.
Okay.
Just
I think it's quite logical. Provider and consumer.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah. All the terms make sense. Yeah. Consumer, taker, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Provider, I'm providing. I'm making the market. Yeah. So, and it does make a lot of sense why, because you mentioned a smart broker will use the bridge to process their orders. And that is for many different reasons. And one that I am aware of is consolidation, right? And the correct processing of orders in terms of, how much volume there is available in the book. So I don't know if you maybe want to expand on that. How does the liquidity bridge of Brokeree do this sweeping and order processing of whether it's a B-book trade, and also this is an important one where you mentioned before, and we have mentioned this in other podcasts, but for somebody who's looking at this for the first time, B-book is when the broker takes the risk themselves.
Yeah.
So the trade is sent from the trader, and then the broker undertakes that risk. So whether the trader is profitable, if the trade is profitable, the broker will pay it out the full amount. If the trader is not profitable, the broker has taken that risk. So the upside is, their upside. It's not it's wrong to consider it an upside, but that's what it is. Is that they've taken the risk, and that total loss remains to the broker. But they've taken a risk for that. Whereas a book is the broker chooses, I'm not going to take this risk, and I'm going to send it to a liquidity provider.
Yeah, where basically, not in all the cases, but in most of the cases, it's also B-book there. Outside.
Yes. So it's this whole chain.
Yeah.
At some point.
So it's not in most cases, it's not going straight to.
Yeah. I mean, for infinity, that means that the trade will never come back. I'm going to A-book.
Yeah.
And it's just gone.
Yeah. But next stage is also B-book.
Yes.
In some cases.
Exactly.
Or A-book.
Yes.
So it's a chain of B-books.
At some point, it's going to need to be B-booked. Someone's going to need to make the market. Some execution venue. Someone has to be that execution venue.
Yeah, a huge execution venue like Citi or
Citibank, or whoever these the bigger forex, and then there's also obviously the actual exchanges. Okay. So let's move on to what other products Brokeree has created along the way. How many products are there in Brokeree?
More than 30 already.
More than 30 different solutions.
Different solutions for brokers. We are a B2B company. We do not work with traders. We work with brokers only.
Even though you do have a product that traders access.
Sure.
But it's provided through the broker.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously, to list now these 30, maybe it doesn't make sense, but let's talk about some, or if you want to talk about, if you want to list all these 30 products.
No, I don't. I don't think it's going to be interesting for anyone. Since you're mostly focused on end traders, I think the most interested thing would be to discuss the products that are visible for end traders and where they interact with it. And I think that our flagship solution and my key expertise is money management products. What we offer in Brokeree, it's PAM and social trading, and also there is MAM on the market. It's like a variation of these two, somewhere in the middle, but like these three is a main. People like brokers call it different way. MAM, copy trading, I don't know, social environment, funds, whatever. But in fact, there is three types: PAM, social trading, and MAM in the middle.
So yeah, I'm very aware of these. These terms always come up in our sector, and I've always needed to go into Investopedia and just reread. And I think this is a good this is a good opportunity over here. Let's dig into the details. So firstly, these are acronyms, right? It's PAM, PAMM.
Yes.
MAM, MAM, and social trading.
Social trading is a brand name of Brokeree solutions, but in fact it's copy trading. What all the people
copy trading, but I think social trading is used also in generally as a term. It's known.
Yeah, it's somewhere like liquidity breach
or eToro. Like eToro is a social trading.
Yeah.
Only that's what their main product is. There's free advertising for them. There you go.
So to call them after.
Yeah, no. So what does PAM stand for? PAMM.
PAM is percent allocation money management module.
Right. And what does MAM stand for?
Multi-account manager.
Okay. And then we also have the copy trading, and we've put these in the same sentence because generally they get mixed, in terms of what these solutions do. And I think this is a good opportunity to get into the details of that. So percentage allocation management module.
Money management.
Percentage allocation money
Let's
management.
Call it PAM.
PAM. What is PAM exactly? And then we'll say what MAM is, and then what copy trading is, and then hopefully that will maybe clarify what the difference is between these different solutions.
It's very simple.
And then if we don't, then we just give. I'm going to ask you for, after the explanation, give me in one sentence what the difference is.
Okay. Actually, I can tell you like from the very beginning. What is the difference? The difference is where the trades are going to be processed and placed. So, talking about PAM. PAM is percent allocation money management module. Talking about percent allocation means that there are investors who invest their money into some fund, aggregated amount. And every investor has its own percent. And allocation of, and then money manager, like a professional trader, manage these aggregated funds. For him, since I'm technology guy, on the back end, it's just a regular trading account with some balance. And this balance consists of all the investments this PAM account has. And for trader, it's for money manager, how we call him, it's just an aggregated fund. He trades as a usual account. And then he got profits or losses.
Wait, hang on. So in percentage allocation management module, did I say it right?
Percent, yeah.
Is it, okay. In the PAM, we have, is it one trader, one investor? Oh, no, sorry. We have one money manager who manages a fund. The theory is that they know how to trade the markets and be profitable. That's the theory, theoretically.
Yeah.
And then the investors are they underneath the money manager?
They are underneath, but they just give some money to him.
Okay.
For management. It's like investment fund. Portfolio management, correctly.
Okay.
But he sees it as a aggregated all amount of funds.
Okay.
But on the back end, and what our product does, it splits all these funds through all the investors and apply shares to them. So let's say we have two investors. Everybody, each investor invested 1,000 euros, for example. So we have 2,000 fund where we have two investors with 50% share. If it's more than two investors, the shares can be 1%, 0.2%, and whatever. And at the end of trading interval, the system calculates the result, the total profit, and share it between all the investors based on their allocates. This is percent allocation, where we do percent allocation. Based on this percentage, we just split the profit across all the list of investors. And some small share, it's manageable, will be forwarded to money manager for his service.
And okay, so in the MetaTrader platform, there's a module called Fund, if I remember.
Probably, yeah.
And then that's got different configurations, where you configure like a symbol, net asset value, which is a sum, let's call it, of the performance of the portfolio, of the trading activity of the money manager. And there's the assets under management, the AUM. The PAM product of Brokeree, or any PAM, mainly the PAM products, they don't have these symbols, let's call it. So here's the first question. Because the reason that those symbols exist, or at least what I've seen, is that the investors don't actually see what symbols are traded. In the PAM of Brokeree, if I'm an investor, am I able to see the trading assets that the money manager is trading?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's possible. What we offer is actually what we offer. We offer the product, the platform, on top of MetaTrader. It integrates to MetaTrader, but it has their own core processing center, UI, UX for administration, for clients, for investors, for money managers, so they can log into the web page and see what's going on there. But money is always inside of MetaTrader. We don't store it. We don't do operations with money. We don't have a license for it, and we don't need it actually. So how it looks for investors, they don't see anything on their MetaTrader account or anywhere else. They can just log inside of the client area, and there will be a list of trades. It's manageable what to show up. It can be only closed one or active one, depends on the settings. Our solutions are very flexible, so they can see, just in most cases they see the closed trades, and they can check what assets was traded. And we also offer the rating module with statistical data about all the trading, where investors can pick up the money manager, and as an option, there can be also, it's like a round dashboard with segments of which symbols are most popular in this PAM.
Okay, so if I'm an investor and I'm participating in a PAM structure, how are the trades, are they appearing in my account automatically and closing out automatically, or do I just see the end result of what the money manager's done?
With PAM, this is the specific of PAM, that you don't see any trade-related interaction.
You don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's only one trade basically inside of PAM account in MetaTrader, and you just see the result in UI.
And if I'm as an investor, so there's different questions obviously that are coming up, and I'm sure our viewers will have so many other questions, but I'll just ask the ones that are coming up in my mind. What if so let's build a basic scenario, right? I'm a money manager, and I've gotten two investors, each with 1,000. So we'll go off the example that you gave before, 1,000 and 1,000. At the moment, there is a 50% allocation to two investors in total. Each investor is given 1,000 in a pool of total 2,000. I start placing trades. I'm the money manager. I start placing trades today. and I have a performance, let's say I'm 20% up, right? The next day, a third investor joins, and for simplicity, let's keep it at the same amount, joins with 1,000.
Yeah.
The allocation now obviously changes in being 33.333, 33.333,
Yes,
33.333 to equal to 100% for all the different investors, 1,000 each in a pool of 3,000. What happens to the performance of the previous day, and how does that allocation happen? You know, what happens there? If I'm that if you were that third investor, what do you experience? Or if you were one of the first initial investors, what happens there? You know?
Yeah, I understand the question. Good one. So that's why solutions like PAMM from Brokeree or any other vendor is needed, because of a lot of calculations there. And talking about the case you mentioned, we have some trades and profits during the first day. The system knows that those trades were under this split, 50-50. Next trade will be under new split, 33, 33, 33. So every trade is calculated separately. Moreover, it depends on the settings, but we can even let new investor join the open trade. For example, he joined while some trade was open. So the system will calculate each period of time, some profit which was generated during the time when it was 50-50, some profit later. So it's very, very flexible calculations all the time.
You know, I'm in the tech side, and I can appreciate the complexity that, you know, that comes behind a system like that.
Yes.
Because here's an example. And let's walk off of the example that I built before, right? So we have the initial two investors, right? Day one. The third investor hasn't been introduced yet because we're not in day two. The current allocation is 50-50. Okay. The day finishes, and the percentage we said was he's up 20% in profit. That gets distributed 50-50. The next day, that third investor hasn't come yet, right? And then the money manager continues trading. And halfway through the day, he opened a trade. So he opened the trade in the morning, let's say, for example, and that trade, he left that trade open. He or she left that trade open. And let's say that trade was in a loss, right, of was losing $150. And then this third investor enters in while that trade is open, while it was losing $150, enters in at that point.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, that same trade closed at 100 profit, right?
Okay.
The third trader actually realized a much better profit, so to speak, than the first two investors, because when he or she entered, that trade that was at a loss of 150 recovered that loss and made a profit of 100. So in actual fact, they entered in when that trade gained 250, while the initial investors were in from before. So they realized that open, the floating profit, let's call it, of minus 150, and then they recovered and made that 100.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that, a sophisticated system like PAMM has calculated for such a scenario and knows how to.
So, yes. And actually, this situation you described is up to broker, let's say, to decide what to do in this case. And there is no way to make it 100% fair for everybody and to exclude some profit from someone, give it to another. So it's just luck. But talking about PAMM, it can be tens of trades per day. Some of them profitable, some not. So a lot of interaction. So if someone joined with one trade and it made more profit than other people, okay, let it be. But overall, we're talking about aggregated funds that generate some profit, that split that after that gets split across all the investors. If any client who use PAMM wants to know exactly what's happening with this journey in the middle of, it's better to contact the brokerage because it's up to them to set it up, how to deal with it. They listen to the feedback, and we get the feedback from. They say our clients say it's not right. It doesn't work like that. Okay, we change the logic. That's how it works.
Yeah, there's so many. This was one scenario that I just came up with. There are, I'm sure, so many
Hundreds,
different permutations to this, where it will be impossible. It will be just too big and actually bog down a system, right? We need to understand that this is the solutions that are powering these, the code behind these solutions that are powering the ability of this type of trading. It's sophisticated, and there's code behind it. The more complexity you add to it to try and cater for all of these things, the bigger the system is. Big. You don't want, it's so hard to manage a mammoth. So maybe it makes sense to define rules, I guess. And then, as you said, the broker defines it and says, if you're going to enter in the middle of the day, either the broker can choose it's not allowed. If you want to enter, if you want to participate in a PAM, there is a window. Maybe there's a window, right? Maybe there's a specific window when the markets are calm, where you acknowledge as an investor that there could be some fluctuation, like maybe that's not so sophisticated, but whatever it is, whatever some policy that is kind of meet me in the middle, as a broker, who gets technology solutions from providers like Brokeree to cater for the demands, let's call it, of the investor. Meet me in the middle, because all of you may be demanding may be very, very difficult to produce as a product.
Yeah, and that's all about setting. I think the most common cases when it's just the open trades is new investors does not participate, to avoid all these questions from our solution is flexible. So for some money managers you can activate it, for some deactivate. Depends on the strategy. So that's why we have a lot of settings, and brokers have a lot of knowledges, and they know how to set it up. If they don't have enough settings, they call us, we add something according to the request. But that's the reason why technology provider exists, because actually to develop the solution, it's not a big thing, like too many big things. And sometimes when we talk pricing, with brokers, they say, we will develop this money, we will develop it on our own. But you will not have this experience we have from hundreds of brokers we work with. And every broker suggests something to us, and we are always open to implement it. So this is not just a solution. This is an experience of hundreds of brokers like yourself built in one package, which you can just install, integrate, and work.
Yeah, and as a product matures, obviously you start catering for the different requests that come through, and obviously the more brokers you have, the more you'll see in terms of a trend what is asked. And if you don't have it available as a functionality, then you implement it where it makes sense. This example that I brought before, coming to think about it a little bit more, if you as an investor, you entered in, you know what you entered in. You entered into a trade that was actually at a loss. So you have to participate in the recovery of that. You can't claim, you decided to join at that point, right?
You see the statistical data, daily drawdown, maximum drawdown, monthly results through the whole period of existence of this PAM account. So we provide a lot of statistical data. Based on it, they decide, okay, they join on the low level or something like that. That happens. You can, when you even trade stocks or something like that, you never know if you're on the low level or high level or whatever. This is a risk with trading that everybody should accept and have to accept if they want to continue. The same with PAM. But with PAM, you get an experienced person on the other end.
We'll cut that out. Before we move on to MAM, you mentioned maximum drawdown, daily drawdown. Explain what that is, please.
So this is losses, like from point A to point B during the, if it's daily, it can be daily drawdown, quarterly drawdown, yearly drawdown. So where's the top point, where's the lowest point, and what's the difference, how many percentage. So in worst case scenario, how much would you lose if you join this kind of this money manager?
So what points are compared? Or when you mentioned point A and point B during the day, is that the balance, or is that the floating equity? Is it the equity, or is it the it's on the balance?
Yeah.
And the difference in balance versus equity is that, so obviously equity
contains P&L.
Contains P&L, which means profit and loss.
Yes.
Which means the current open trades have a specific profit and loss number that's floating.
Yeah,
That's it, because trades are open, and that number's dynamic. It's consistently adjusting, whether it is at a loss, meaning it's in minus, or it's in profits, meaning it's you're earning. If you had to close all the trades, that's the realized profit or loss you would have.
This will be your balance.
So if you close it, then that gets added into the balance.
Mm-hmm.
While equity also includes a credit, but let's not consider credit for now, which is a different thing. And obviously the traders know what that is. So, and then the drawdown works off of the balance, what the balance was at the start of the day,
mm-hmm.
compared to what let's say it's in the middle of the day, and the current balance is 5% lower than what it was at the start of the day. That means that the drawdown at that point is 5%.
Yeah. Actually, to all the calculations we do to avoid any miscommunication, because some people think it should be balance, some people that should be equity. We just took Investopedia, all the formulas from there. So in case of any questions,
go to Investopedia.
Yeah. This is a source of truth.
Yes.
And for why these PAMM solutions are introduced, this is because of the load to the server. So when we have multiple investors and only one trade, and this is for MetaTrader, for platform, for load, it's one trade, that's all. All the rest of the calculation done outside and don't influence the trading platform, the latency, the execution, the power, everything like that.
Yeah.
So this is why Brokerage introduced this technology, because it's like robust and fast turnkey product, turnkey execution model.
Yeah, and it's when the main platform that actually processes the orders is MetaTrader in this case.
Yeah, MetaTrader is the core of any brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
First they got licensing and they got MetaTrader. After that they decide if we need bridge, if we need CRM, if we need PAMM, if we need some enhancement or whatever. Everything is built around the trading platform. Trading platform is actually the server-based solution software where everybody has their own accounts, all the profit losses, all the history is there. So around it, you can build anything, and all the data is there. So if you want to analyze the previous performance of money manager, you go to MetaTrader, you take his history, you can upload to rating module to calculate it correctly and to show up who is this person, what result he had before.
Can you explain in simple words the whole infrastructure, how it works? Yeah.
As I said, it's like the core of infrastructure is trading platform. We work with MetaTrader 4 and 5. It can be any CTrader, MatchTrader, DXTrade, XOpenHub. There are a lot of on the market, and recently they are evolving. You know why? Yeah. So it's a core, and all the trades. Basically, you can do brokerage only with trading platform. It's trading servers. If you do B-book, you don't need execution. You don't need anything. You can manually upload money there, deposit money there, and that's all. But to make it convenient and to make it like one-stop shop, people introduce a lot of side technologies, which is CRM, to make the interaction with mostly money more transparent and convenient for end user, for trader. Then we do bridge to manage risks and to maintain the whole story, the whole company, whole business. And then when clients came to with some additional requests, for example, Islamic accounts. How can you do Islamic accounts? You need separate technology for it. If you want PAM, if you want copy trader, if some experienced trader want to share his strategy, why not? It's good for market. It's not negative profit for him, and for broker it's also fine. Why not to introduce something? You can call him like, what trade did you open today? Oh, USD. I'm in. That's how it previously worked. But when we have a technology, we come to, let's say, social trading, copy trading. This is a separate product platform where you can copy trades from some experienced traders. And this is a technology on top of MetaTrader to process trade inside of MetaTrader. And that's what we do and what is it, how it works. It's just a compilation of a lot of different software that works as one to provide with the best service and best experience for traders.
So we discussed percentage allocation, and along the way, before we got to the MAM description, we said a whole lot of other stuff as well, which is pretty cool. But let's talk about MAM.
I would start with social trading.
You want to do
copy
social
trading because MAM is in the middle, and it's better to describe two concepts and then meet.
So we've defined percentage allocation. It's very clear. We got into details with some examples.
I hope so.
That's awesome. I think so.
Was it clear for you?
Super clear. Social trading.
Social trading, the concept is the same. We have investors, people who don't know how to trade or want to try some other strategies. And we have experienced traders who want to share their strategy to manage other people's funds. With copy trading, the idea is the same as PAM, but the difference, as I told you from the very beginning, where the trade is. With PAM, it's on one PAM account, one trade with all the money under it. With social trading, it's copying. So you copy successful, all actually trades, because you never know which is successful and which is not. So you copy trades from the money manager, we call him provider, some master, signal provider, whatever, to my account, to investors' account. They copy, they see it in real time, what is opening. They can close it with some software, without where they can. They can close trades they don't like, they don't trust. They can manage it, they can see the history, they can manage the process themselves.
They see in real time the trades coming through
yes,
that are getting copied.
In MetaTrader. Whatever provider, signal provider master opens, it should be same time because of the pricing. It should be same time open on follower trader, MetaTrader personal account. He sees it in client terminal, he sees it everywhere. And it's in the history, and he can adjust. He can manage this trade. For example, volume. Let's say this, the basic scenario is when provider open 10 lots because he can, and I have funds only for one lot, what to do? So we can dynamically adjust the volume on the slave or follower side to make it according to the difference of their balances, for example. Or I'm just a newcomer. I don't want to risk, I just want to see how it works. I can specify like all the trades, I want all the same trades, but 0.1 lot only. We can fix the volume for copies, just to see how it goes. Later on, you can change settings. So this is about control. This is about transparency, because you see all the trades and you can close all of them and quit and forget about it. And it's about managing of the process.
Wow. Okay. So that's cool. So you give a lot more control, let's call it, to the investor.
Yeah.
And all they're doing, all that I've understood in the brokeree, and I think most of the social trading or copy trading solutions that exist work like this. Similarly, you give them the control, and what you're mainly doing there is you're just copying someone's trading habits or activity, their trading behavior, and almost like a bot, right? But then you're giving them the ability to close out or adjust the volume. My very first question comes like this. In this example where you said, right, I just want to see how it goes, right? And I want to adjust the volume that somebody's traded, because that I'm copying, to 0.1. But correct me if I'm wrong, I think the volume plays, in some cases, for many traders, plays a big role in their strategy. So they might place a bigger trade on like one lot, let's say, of their notional volume. Maybe it's based on notional volume, how much risk they take on different products on the NAS, and then take a smaller trade on some other cross pair to hedge the dollar, and maybe they see an upside from some macroeconomic analysis that they've done on some other forex pair. But that must be lower in volume. Like volume, I believe, in some strategies plays a role. And in a copy trading, if you give them the option to do 0.1, this is just, I'm basing off of this one, that might impact what the actual performance of the person that they're copying should have actually been, if they take in volume into consideration.
Yeah. But they can see the strategy based on rating module again, because we offer it for social trading as well. And they can, so that's the main concern about social trading, where followers have too much control. Of course, you can restrict different points they can use. For example, you can ban this volume adjustment or leave it only, make it automatically just based on difference of balances. So they cannot.
It might make sense for some, it's good that the flexibility is there. Obviously for Brokeree to add that functionality and that flexibility, it makes sense in some case scenarios where, where, and it's good that it's an option, right? You say for some followers, so maybe there's a broker that says, my investors over here who are going to be copied, this is an example, volume plays a role, so we've got to disable that. And then make it a bit more rigid, but still be copy trading, right? So there could also be like even a combination, if I've understood it correctly. Like if somebody doesn't have as much equity as the person that they're following, it takes a ratio of that, and then just adjusts the volume.
The strategy will be the same as provider has, but affordable for
a smaller scale.
Yeah, smaller scale.
Okay, so that is super interesting, and obviously there are so many other questions that come there, right? So, I mean, let me throw this one. So, what if I'm a follower. I'm following somebody who's got 10 times more money than me. And that means that my ratio is obviously 10 times smaller.
Yeah.
And then the person I'm following places a really small trade, and in ratio that is...
It's going to be lower than
the minimum allowed. That doesn't get created, right? Or does it get created in the minimum?
It's up to broker to decide.
So that's, you see, all these different, people need to appreciate the amount of work that goes behind creating products like this. Because that's another, so we can go on and on.
It's a very simple thing. It's just 0.01 lot, right?
Yeah.
But there was a massive discussion on how to do it with different brokers. They made their opinion to us, and we collected the feedback. So it was a huge work under this small adjustment. And there are, I think you saw, a lot of settings there, and every setting is a painkiller for a lot of customers all around the world.
All right, so percentage allocation versus social trading. I think the definition is quite clear there. In percentage allocation, you don't have the flexibility, let's call it.
Yeah.
You're not really copying someone. You're trusting somebody to manage your money versus copy trading is you're copying someone, but you're not trusting them to manage your money. They're not managing your money. You're just copying their trading
and
behavior.
It's important in terms of regulations. Who managing your money and who you just follow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's a whole that's a whole other discussion.
Don't touch this regulation things.
So you're copying just as let's call it a convenience, like a service, and then I will edit after that. So it's different. You're not managing my money. I'm just copying you for as much as I want to copy you, and then as a follower, and then I've got the ability to close out and trade and whatever. Obviously based on what's been allowed or not allowed by the broker. Are we ready to compare MAM now?
Yeah, MAM is so as many brokers on the market. Everybody has their own vision of this software. But where is it's all started? It's just when we have money manager, some experienced trader, and he wants to manage his friends' accounts. So he log in to every MetaTrader and open some trades, close some trades, do it manually. This is like what pain here under this solution. Then it went through a lot of optimization changes, and now what MAM is, it's in the middle between PAM and social. From social, it takes real trades on investors' account, like copying. But with MAM, traders don't have so much control. The control on volumes, on strategy, on following and way of following is under money manager. So it's PAM with trades on investors' accounts. Basically, based on Investopedia, what MAM is when money manager has account, MetaTrader, with virtual funds, virtual, not real, not brokerage, which are equal to all the funds of all the followers he has. So he trades as PAM manager using this virtual account, and then the system automatically distributes based on percentage, or there can be different allocation modes, distribute these shares of this big trade to all the investors. So we have less control for followers, but more transparency in terms of what they see in real time. Sorry about that.
That's okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm trying to understand the main difference between the percentage allocation and the MAM.
Where trades are.
Okay.
It's all about where trades are. If people want to see trades on their MetaTrader account, but don't want to care about these volume settings, registration, strategy, they go to MAM. So this money manager can not only trade, but also decide how they will participate in this strategy, in this trading. With PAM, they don't see it in real time. They just trust. That's all.
The investor.
Trust to money manager, just give money, make profit for me. I will check at the end of the month.
See all the closed trades, and if you were profitable, I'll continue using you. If you were not, but in the MAM, it is I'm trusting you with my money. I'm allocating some portion of my money into a total pool of balance that you're managing.
Yeah.
And then obviously the allocation percentage based on, the total people that have participated, those trades are virtually reflected in the account, or the balance is virtual.
The balance of money manager, the aggregated one, is virtual, but followers, investors, balances are real, and trades there are real.
Can they close out the trades?
I think it depends on. We at Broker Solutions, we don't offer MAM, so I don't know exactly what settings you can do, but I think so.
Brokeree does not offer MAM?
No, we have social trading and PAM.
Oh. You learn something new every
Oh.
day. Okay. I think that's clear and very interesting.
Yeah, it all depends on the level of trust and level of participation of investors into the process. With PAM, it's just like a hedge fund, investment fund. You give money, you expect, based on the history, something back.
Why hasn't Brokeree created a MAM?
Because it's somewhere in the middle, and a lot of as much brokers, this much visions of how MAM should work. It's very different for most of them.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, we consider adding this.
You're considering it.
Yeah. But the main what people ask, we work based on demand, right? So people ask social trading or PAM. It's quite a rare case when they ask for MAM. It's mostly popular in Asia region. They prefer MAM solution in terms of that.
Without me being directly involved, I think since you've got the social trading already in place and the PAM, I think you're 90% there.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
We just need to decide about all these experience-based things. What to do in this case, what to do, because it's virtual funds. How it's going to be reflected in accounting of the broker. Is it virtual? Is it real? What to do with execution? How to manage pricing? How to synchronize pricing? It's a lot of stuff to do. For example, with copy trading, we recently introduced a cross-copying solution, cross-copying function. I mean cross-server function. When you copy between, for example, traders in MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, basically you take the parameters and you send open requests on another server. It looks simple, but what to do with latency? What to do with accounting? How to send back the commission, the profit of provider, his share between different, how to reflect it correctly, how to keep it so synchronized very fast, because it's internet connection between them, and you know that internet connection is a weak point of all the transaction things. And when we talk about a book execution, it should be immediate to meet the same price as provider, otherwise the result can be different.
That's why brokers are choosing to have their servers hosted close to where their execution venues are.
If possible, yeah. But again, if we talk about copy trading, it's about core, it's about access to the platform, so it should be close to traders, right, in terms of infrastructure. Otherwise, the loading will take a long time, and if it's core, we can install core inside of this trading server or outside. So it's all the big story. That's why we work and provide our service to brokers, and that's why we have a lot of demand for that.
Victor, you know that we've been here for an hour, and there's so much more that I want.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Been an hour. Yeah. So you mentioned Islamic.
The example with Islamic account was just about software that exists, and probably not everybody knows that it's some sites software, but for all these small requirements needs just a simple adjustment. Don't charge swap, charge it in a different way. But all of it is made by extra software, and that's why experienced broker, big companies, they have huge technology. Every business is software business now, right? Especially fintech and this industry. So that's how it works.
Good. Victor, we've touched on different things there here, different technologies, different solutions that traders may or may not be aware of. The PAM, we drilled it down. It was good. I'm going to refer to my own video from now on when I forget the difference between PAM, MAM, and social trading.
Hopefully it was clear.
Yes, awesome. It was good. I'd like to thank you for your time. There was this hour went very quick, right?
Yes. I think we have a lot of topic to
There's
discuss.
so much. We can do 3 hours. We can do 4 hours. I mean,
Easy.
Yeah. And that's the whole purpose, right? Just to have these casual discussions, and we can have more. It's not limited. Whenever you want. The room's cool, right? Victor, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a real pleasure, and I think you do a big difference for the big deal for the market, for traders, to see how it works and to choose the right trading provider on the market, understanding what's on the background of it.
That's the intent. And thank you for that. I appreciate that. Until the next one.
Thank you.